There we go.
A collection of killers.
Welcome to magAMedia Podcast. I am at Lazy Meatball at Small Town. Andrew is here on the keys, navigating some video for you. We have at Rob JH1. Rob Harper is our co-host tonight, along with Agnes Gibboney. She is an angel mom. We met in Sacramento at the SB 27 rally, and she's got a great story to tell, a very heartfelt story to tell, and we were really impressed with everything she had to say. She's a huge Trump supporter. Welcome, Agnes.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So you're so welcome. Thank you. I gave a little backstory, but for those of you out there that don't know your story, can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Sure. My family escaped Hungary after the Soviet Union invaded Hungary. We are truly a refugee, not this bogus thing that we see at the border. My family spent about 10 months in a refugee camp, and it's a long story. We wanted to come to the United States, but because my father was born in Yugoslavia, they wanted to keep us there, so they would not allow us to come to the American Embassy. So we ended up immigrating to Brazil, where we lived 13 years, applied 3 times. The first 2, the application expired, and we legally immigrated to the United States, fully vetted. And let me add this, I don't find any insult, according to Pelosi, that it's insulting to immigrants to be fully vetted. I would expect no less of a country that is inviting somebody to live in their home.
Right. And
in 2002, my only son Ronald was murdered by a previously deported illegal alien. So in a nutshell, that's my story.
It's absolutely horrible. I mean, this is somebody who isn't supposed to be here in the first place. No, just I know you.
So Agnes, when you hear stories from Nancy Pelosi and the other politicians that we should let these people come here without documents, come here without being vetted, what are your thoughts? How does that make you feel?
Extremely angry. You wouldn't allow just anybody in your home, would you? Why would you allow just anybody in your country? I think Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are fully distorting the whole issue of immigration. These people coming here, they're going to become a burden to our society. Most of them can't even read and write in their own language. What benefit are they going to be to the United States? We're going to end up having to pay millions and billions of dollars to support, to house, and medical and educate their children. We're not talking of one child. We're talking sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 8 children. Why should it be my responsibility? Why should it be my responsibility as a taxpayer to have to support somebody else's children, somebody who invaded a country, somebody who has no respect for this country to come in legally? They know that if they want to apply to come here legally, go to the embassy in your country and apply. Do it like all the legal immigrants do it. And I find it so offensive, Rob, to have somebody say undocumented immigrant, putting the word immigrant in the end. They are not immigrants.
Right.
They are breaking the law. They are illegal aliens as per the federal laws. They are illegal aliens. And we should never confuse. This is a hypocrisy that the Democrats have started by calling them immigrants, undocumented, or whatever it is, and they put the word immigrant in the end. Nancy Pelosi should be arrested for treason because she is not a patriot. She's not an American citizen. She's not working for this country, for the citizens of this country. She's working for lawlessness, for the sake of a vote, and at the expense of our families' lives. And that is an outrage, because if he hasn't affected your family yet, it's going to be a matter of time, especially with the millions coming in.
Speaking of that, what do you think about the Cory Booker going over the border and bringing people over?
The minute he put a foot into the United States, He should have been knocked down on the ground, handcuffed, and taken to and be tried for treason. Because in the old days, you think about the hypocrisy of the Democrats. They want to make this a socialist country. Socialism is just a prettier word for communism. A socialist country, if you go against your government, you're gonna disappear. You're gonna end up in a prison if you're ever gonna be seen again. So they're talking about stuff that they know nothing about. My family left communism. I know. I heard. I grew up listening to what my parents had to go through and live through, and the horrors that my mother told me that she saw. But Democrats don't care. They have not a clue because they are loaded. They're cushioned with millions and millions of dollars. How, you explain to me, how is it that a congresswoman becomes a millionaire as a congresswoman, as a senator?
Yeah, they're all just rolling the dough, aren't they? At everybody else's expense.
How much money are they getting paid under the table to do special interest favors that goes against the grains of our Constitution?
Right. So, Agnes, why do you think that they don't want to hear your story or want your story out there? Because just talking to you right now, I can tell that it's as if, Bill, your son was just killed yesterday.
Yeah.
And having to relive this over and over again, and you see them wanting people coming here, but they don't want them to hear your story. Why do you think that is?
Look, the guy that killed my son is an illegal alien who had been previously deported. He loaded the gun. I mean, he fired the gun, but the Democrats loaded the gun. So they are just as complicit in my son's murder as the killer is, the shooter. They don't want to hear my story. They don't want to, the media, most of them, don't want to give me a chance to speak, or most angel moms and dads, because then it goes against the grain of them saying, oh, these people are nice. MS-13 gangs are nice people. They're human people. Yeah, they're human like you and me, but they're vicious murderers. They're criminals.
Right.
They don't know how
the right way.
Yeah,
You did it the right way.
And we did it the right way. So they don't want to hear my version of being fully vetted because that goes against their narrative. They don't want to hear that illegal aliens or open borders, it just destroys the country. Look at Europe. What's happening in Europe? Ever since the Union came in and they opened the borders for everybody, it's been nothing but a disaster. Until then, every country had their own culture, their own system, their own. Now they're trying to push it onto everybody, so everybody will be the same. Well, we're not all the same, because let me tell you something. United States will never be Iraq, and Iraq will never be United States. United States will never be Hungary. Hungary will never be United States. Every country has its own beauty, but there are certain cultures that cannot and will not mingle with the Western civilization, and that's a fact.
Right.
And south of the border, I don't know what got into them, what memo they got that come to the United States because you'll be safe here. What do they use now as a free ticket? A child. And what happens to that child? The little girl, the little boy gets raped, gets abused, gets sexually assaulted. Drugs are pouring into our country. How many millions of children and families are we going to destroy and victimize? Because once you're victimized, you never get back. Because, look, you say that I talk like it happened yesterday. I live this every day. I'm reminded every day that my son is 6 feet under, laying in a coffin. While the guy that killed my son will walk as a free man this November. How fair is that? And where is my country? Where is our governor in California standing up for my rights, for my family's rights? He doesn't give a darn about me, about my family, about my son. In fact, I wrote to Gavin Newsom one letter asking him, how can I protect myself from the felon that's going to be soon released? Never got an answer. A week later, I wrote one in Spanish. Never got an answer. He doesn't care.
So no one from his office has reached out to you
Never.
Say anything.
Nothing. Not even an acknowledgement email to say, we got your email and somebody will get back to you soon. Not even that much of a courtesy. Just like Kamala Harris's office in February when I was in D.C. with a bunch of other angel moms and dads. We walk in, first of all, to Nancy Pelosi's office. Immediately, one of the staffer comes out, closes one door, and then closes the other door, as if we are some kind of criminals. And then I thought, okay, whatever, fancies you, go ahead. I'm not going to break into your office. And I left a picture of my son, of his marker, of his gravesite, put my email, my phone number, my full name, my address on the back with a couple of questions. Nancy Pelosi has never acknowledged my letter, my picture, nothing. She probably wiped her butt with my son's picture. Same thing with Chuck Schumer, never got an acknowledgement. Then went to Kamala Harris's office. I told her, I says, I'm one of the angel mom, would like to see if I could speak to Kamala Harris. Oh, no, she's not in. I says, how about her staff? Well, there's nobody available, she said. And then and I said, I'm Agnes Gibboney. My son was murdered by a previously deported illegal alien. And I'm showing her a picture, and she laughed in my face. And I said nothing in the moment because there were two other angel moms with me. I wanted to give them an opportunity before I rip into this woman. And then when she did the same thing to the second mother, I said, excuse me, but you're being very rude and condescending by laughing in our faces. Your child wasn't murdered. Ours was. How dare you laugh in our face? And then she very nervously gave this little smirk and says, oh, I'm so sorry. I have a child that's very sick and can die. I says, I'm really sorry for your child being in that situation, but you have no right to laugh in our faces.
I don't see where they get so bold, so brave. I mean, you have Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, the Chicago mayor, the Seattle mayors, the governors refusing to cooperate with ICE. When you hear about stuff like that, when Omar and AOC, she wants that entire branch of the government eliminated. The San Francisco mayor, London Breed, tweeting out in all different languages, we're going to promise to protect you from deportation. How does that make you feel?
It's like saying we need to eliminate every law enforcement. Mm-hmm. How ridiculous is that? I find, number one, I'm shocked that somebody like that's still in office, that somebody didn't yank her out and drag her out by the hair, because she's not an American. She's an anti-American, creating havoc in Congress, creating more division. Enough of these politicians that create division, the same as Ocasio-Cortez. Mm-hmm. Disgusting. We need ICE. ICE enforces our immigration laws. They go after criminals that have harmed citizens. Anybody in the right mind that thinks that ICE is not necessary, look again, because tomorrow you could be screaming and begging for them to come and get your killer or your child's rapist.
Right. It's like they don't want them until there's danger on their end, and then they want to cry out, where are they? Get rid of them. We don't want them when it's someone else's. But the moment that they're in trouble, that's when they're looking for the law enforcement to come and protect them. And as said, them wanting to get rid of ICE, get rid of all these people. It's like, but why? They're here to protect us.
That's right. And yeah, exactly. When we were in D.C. at Nancy Pelosi's office, the office is very small. We packed the office. It was stuffed in there. And at one point, I just said, "Oh, I just gotta get out of here." And I walked out, and whoa! I looked down. The hallway was lined up with Capitol Police, lined up. And I walked up to one, and I said, "Thank you for your service." I said, "Is this all for us, Angel Moms?" And he goes, "Yes, ma'am." And I said, "Gosh," I said, "do we look this dangerous?" And he goes, "No, ma'am." I said, "I wish law enforcement would show this much force at the border to protect this country, not against us, Angel Moms." But I thank him for his service because I know he's doing a job. I understand that. I'm not being unreasonable. But to be treated like that by our own government, that we voted them in. Who is voting these people in, for God's sakes? We need to start paying attention who we put in office. because they are destroying our country, taking away your freedom. And if American people do not wake up, we're going to become a socialist country, and United States will no longer be the United States you know. There are states trying to pass bills for here, I think Oregon, if I'm not mistaken, or Oregon or Washington, that it's against the law to build single-family homes. You know, it's beginning to sound a lot like communism to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, exactly. And this is the United States of America, like you said. And if they don't want to respect our laws, why come here? If they say that this country is racist, why are so many at the border trying to come here illegally? Why not just stay at home? If you're saying that your country is so good, then why do you come to ours?
Right.
Why not stay across the border? And like you said, they're coming here and wreaking havoc.
Right. And most of them don't respect our country at all. And OAC, Ocasio-Cortez, when she made the ludicrous, the stupidest comment that the conditions of the shelters or the holding units or whatever the illegals are being held is like a concentration camp. Is she that stupid?
Yes.
I mean, how can a woman be so ignorant? First of all, she needs to go to Germany and to look at some other concentration camps, Auschwitz, Belsen, Dachau, and many other concentration camps to know what a concentration camp really is. A concentration camp is for large groups of people, political prisoners or members of persecuted minorities. They're imprisoned in areas where they're forced laborers. Where are these illegal aliens being forced into any labor?
Where are they even being...
Supporting them 100%. If you don't like the conditions, then don't break into a country, because if I broke into Mexico and they caught me, I would be in a rat hole filled with cockroaches and rats for months, and nobody would look at me that, oh, look, she doesn't have a clean toilet to go to the bathroom. Nobody would care, but they care that they get clothing, they get toothpaste and toothbrush, they get, we're not equipped to have millions, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens. We're not equipped for that.
You know, and
my solution is just shut the border down.
Dang right.
Nobody comes in.
Dang right. You know, and the whole thing with the concentration camp really got me too, because, you know, nobody's forcing these people to come here. We're doing our best to take care of them. You know, I personally think we're giving them a lot of concessions. I mean, you've seen the Candace Owens video where some of them are doing Zumba and crafts classes and so like some might be bad, some might be good, but the truth is they're getting more than they got where they came from. And two, nobody's forcing them to come here, and they're welcome to go back. The people in Poland didn't have it so good.
Kick them out. That's what I say. Kick them out. You're an ingrate. You're going to be an ingrate if you're allowed to stay, because you're going to already think, oh, I already beat the system. I don't have to obey these stupid American laws. And we don't need more lawless people in our country. Trust me.
Right.
And not only that, but Congress says it's too expensive to build a wall. Well, isn't it too expensive to house all these people and to feed and give education and medical to millions of illegal aliens that live in our country already? It's costing us billions of dollars a year. Then put out the money one time, and then we save all that money and start deporting. I'll tell you, the day that I hear on the news that I'll see an ice truck here and there, I'm going to be making a cake with cherry on the top, and I'm going to pop a bottle of champagne open, because I can't wait until that day happens.
That'll be a great celebration. That's for sure. Yeah, it's something that's desperately needed. I mean, like, I'm with you on that. I've seen some of the statistics. The numbers are all over the place. But, I mean, the fact is we're spending hundreds of billions a year on illegal care for healthcare, schools, housing, medical stuff, you know, welfare, etc. And a $5 billion price tag for something that we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on is just, I don't see why Democrats are so bad with math. I just don't get it.
You know what? Nancy Pelosi, and people need to know this, Nancy Pelosi once said, if we say a lie and the media reports it, people will start believing. And I don't know, I don't want to insult Democrats or liberals or any group of people, Republicans or rhinos or anybody, but people, open the other side of your brain and start thinking rationally with common sense. If we are already spending millions of dollars for them to be here already, then don't buy the nonsense that they already pay taxes. What taxes do they pay? Sales tax? No, I'm talking about, you look at your house taxes. My house tax, I think we pay close to $7,000 a year. It keeps going up and up and up because of this school bond, that school bond. Now we have more school kids coming from Hispanic areas to my district. Why should I have to pay more taxes to school these people? I am outraged.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to, and that's something that a lot of people don't get is property taxes in the United States. In a lot of states, it depends on how many people are going to the schools. A lot of that is for schools, and you take away this huge influx of illegals that we're taking care of in the schools. You lower your property taxes significantly.
That's right. It is in all aspects, and I'm not saying that every illegal alien are bad people. Now, there are some really nice people among them. I've met several, and I met several crooked ones too, thieves and corrupt people. But we can't go on that. It's like saying, well, somebody's knocking on my door. I'm going to let them in. Maybe they'll turn out good, maybe not. You can't guarantee, I understand you can't guarantee that somebody's going to legally immigrate here and be a law-abiding citizen. I'm sure amongst them there are some that will deviate and commit crimes. But I can tell you with guarantee that anybody that goes to this sacrifice, like my family did, of legally immigrating into the United States and being fully vetted, that you're going to do everything to walk a straight line so you're not going to be deported. Of course, until you become a U.S. citizen, then, you're in. But, like when we came here, we were told, here's your green card. You have every right that an American citizen has. Go and apply for your Social Security card, and you can work, you can do anything a U.S. citizen does. The only thing you cannot do is to vote until you become a U.S. citizen. Never in my family, my brother, myself, my mother, or my father, never thought of voting. And these illegals think nothing of it because they come from a country of corruption, a mentality that I can get away with, and they bring that mentality into our country. So in other words, they're wanting to turn our country into the same shithole that they came from.
That's right.
Exactly, and you would think that they would, if they want that, then stay in your own country in those shitholes that you claim that aren't. And then something else that you mentioned is the ability to vote. You have the green card, you can do everything as an American citizen, with the exception of voting. But now you have governors who are looking at giving them the right to vote. I think in California, they want them to be able to vote for in local elections for school boards. It's like, how can you give them that right and they're not here legally?
Right. In a communist country, you know what they would do to politicians like that? Put them in front of the wall, and 10 guards will shoot at them, shoot at him. That's what would happen. They would be executed because you're going against the government. And nobody in this country is doing a darn thing about it to say, what the hell are you doing? You are going against the Constitution of this country. You are going against the citizens of this country. You are going against the laws of this country. For what? To protect those that broke the law?
Exactly.
And nobody says anything. Unbelievable.
And I think that if you're so passionate to what you're saying, and that's probably the reason why the media don't want you up front, because if people really understood what was happening, and we're allowing people to come to this country and possibly vote on laws and vote on things that will affect their lives, and they don't even belong in this country.
Right.
coming across the border, and they'll be able to vote on things that completely will affect the life of an American citizen. It's like, folks, stop, think. We're not saying that we don't want these people to come here, but we want them to come here legally. We don't want them to come here without any right. If I just give you something, of course you're going to abuse it and you can care less about it. But if you have to fight for it, if you have to gain it, you will respect it a lot more.
And you're absolutely right. I already lost the most precious thing, which is my son's life. I cannot get that back. And I hope to God that nobody else will come after me to have to live this life sentence of pain and grief because the government did not protect their family. But trust me, it's going to be a matter of when. When our government is initiating legislation and laws to give benefits, medical benefits to illegal aliens, who's going to pay for it?
Exactly. The taxpayers are going to pay for it. And like you said, our government, you're claiming it because you came here the right way. So you're entitled to make those assertions. Whereas others who did not come here the right way, they don't have any of the rights that you have. Like you said, you came here. You are an American. You did what you were supposed to do. You stood in line. You filled out the paperwork. Waited your time for it to come to happen to you, and then to have your son's life taken from you, from him, because of an illegal alien who was deported once and came back across. It's like, people, wake up.
And you know what's offensive? When I call him my guy, he was physically deported, and I'm not sure how soon after he walked back across the border. That I don't know. But he was arrested afterwards for domestic violence, for assaulting a partner. I'm assuming his girlfriend or wife or whoever. Why in the world did that judge did not raise a red flag and say, wait a minute, you have been deported. What are you doing back in our country? And immediately call the feds and turn him over. Corruption is existing in our court system also. And this is the problem. Yes, and this is the problem. When my son when the guy was being sentenced, we're waiting for the jury to come up. They're gathering the jury downstairs. So we're in court waiting. The judge says, Mr. Gonzalez, are you sure you don't want to plead this case? You should plead this case. And he goes, no. And I look at my husband and I'm thinking, what the hell is this judge doing? And he was going for first degree or second degree murder, which is 45 to life or 25 to life. And I said, wait a minute, what are you doing? And then he comes up and says, Mr. Gonzalez, are you sure you don't want to plead the case? You should, because you still be a young man when you come out and you still have a life out there. And all I'm thinking and seeing in front of my face, in front of my eyes, is my son laying with his hands across his chest in that dark coffin, 6 feet underground. What chance is my son ever going to have? And then a third time, Mr. Gonzalez, you should plead this case. Are you sure you don't want to take a plea to a much lesser charge? You should do that. And he took a plea to voluntary manslaughter. Got the maximum, 11 years. And plus 10 years for using a firearm, which now, thanks to Governor Jerry Brown, we don't have the gun enhancement charges anymore. And now gangs can use the firearms. They can shoot you because they won't get an additional charge for using a gun. And so 21 years, he was sentenced to a determinate sentence, was reduced to 85%. His release date would have been June 24 of 2020. Now his release date is November of this year, and I'm sure it's going to be sooner, too. The way
and he'll probably get out and then probably somehow I won't say get the right to vote, but vote illegally in some election thanks to the governor of California. This has got to stop.
This has got to stop. This insanity has got to stop, and I don't know how Gavin Newsom sleeps. I don't wish harm on anybody because I know the pain that I have lived with for 17 years. But I'll tell you, I would hope that Kamala Harris, Ocasio-Cortez, and Gavin Newsom, somebody in their family, would get seriously hurt not killed, but they would be okay down the line, just so he can get a taste of how it is. Just to get a taste, because, I know it's a real harsh thing, and I really don't mean that, because I don't want to have that on my conscience, but how else would they ever learn?
Sometimes that's what it takes.
What? I'm sorry?
Sometimes that's what it takes for someone to get some firsthand knowledge of exactly what type of thing that you and hundreds of thousands of other people are going through right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it just takes some eye-opening experience. I mean, going back to that, I was thinking about the census question, about the voting and all this. And I personally don't think that's harsh enough. Everyone should produce proof of citizenship, period.
You know what? Hungary, where I was born, they have a voter ID card. And I was asking my cousin, who is in politics in Hungary, he's a city council member for 25 years now. I don't know how many terms he served, but he's doing really good and people like him, so they keep re-electing him. And I asked him, I said, tell me something. How is it, your voting process here? He says, you go in to vote, you have your ID card, your voter ID card, then each person from each party, the Democrat, the Liberals, the Republicans, the this and the that and the that, one person from each party is sitting there. Each one will verify your voter ID card and then check it off. And then you go to another place, show your picture ID, and then you get your ballot to vote. Mm-hmm. None of this bullshit that we go here, that you don't need to show any ID, or it's offensive. Offensive to who?
Yeah, it's offensive. It's offensive to me as an American to hear this. Well, I used to live in California. I moved, thankfully. But I would hear this constantly. The voter ID law passed, and the minute people get their ID, and this is what a lot of people don't get. They're like, oh, they're not voting. Yes, they are. In droves, they're voting. They get their license, and they go right down to the polls, and they are changing how we do things. This is not an American way. This is an X way. Does that make sense? They're voting in the schools.
How corrupt our voting system is. Los Angeles had 1.5 million more votes than registered voters. How in the hell does that happen?
Yes.
1.5 million. I'm going to be getting involved. That's going to be my next project with voter integrity, to track some of these people down. There are people voting, 15 voters in one house. Mm-hmm. How many houses have 15 people, registered voters living in it? Not that many.
Right,
not that many.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be involved in that, because I want to have the pleasure of bringing some of these people down. But the main thing is, we definitely need to get down and demand, because I'm a delegate, and I'm on the platform committee. And I was coming back from D.C. when I got a call and said, oh, Agnes, hi, how are you? Hey, would you be willing to do absent voting? And I said, what is that? I'm new to this. Because, well, if it's somebody that's not there to vote, that you vote in their place so the vote doesn't get lost. And I said, well, sure, I would like that. Would you like to do 2, maybe 3? And I said, sure, as many as I can. I don't mind. And so the guy was talking, he says, and really great, thank you so much for your help, and who are you planning to vote for? And I said, well, Travis Allen or Steve Franks. My name was not on that absent voter list. So they were harvesting already votes, whoever is going to be. If I would have said I'm voting for Jessica Patterson or Patterson, I'll bet you my name would have been on that list.
Wow.
And, it just opened my eyes. What kind of corruption is there everywhere? Mm-hmm. Unions. The city I live in Rancho Cucamonga, the firemen union controls the city. This is, people pay attention to what's happening in your local government, because the corruption starts at a lower level too.
And corruption, I mean, you have politicians around that don't respect our laws, going back to Cory Booker, going back to Kamala Harris, et cetera. But you have, they want to even change the laws as they stand, make it a civil offense, i.e. a fine, and not a criminal offense to cross our border. What goes through your mind when you hear someone just spewing that garbage?
What goes to my mind is that I wish somebody would hit him over the head with a baseball bat and then just say, well, that was just a toothpick that they hit you, so it's a nonviolent crime.
There you go. There you
It's a
go.
nonviolent crime. So does that fit? No. Does it fit for them to make it a civil? Okay, what kind of? This is a federal offense. Why are states trying to take away the power of federal government? They're overstepping their boundaries.
Yes, I completely agree with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're trying to take over, and I just hope that one of these days Trump is going to send a crew over here and start busting California, because California is completely out of control, and they laugh in the face of ICE. They banned ICE from prisons. They banned the sheriff in LA said, I don't want ICE in any of my jails. But then oftentimes they will not notify ICE when a previously deported criminal felon is being released. They just let him off in the streets.
And that's...
So I hope that one of those felons will murder one of their loved ones to see how they like it.
Right.
And maybe then they're going to start saying, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that guy was deported 8 times. What are we doing? Like Kate Steiney's killer.
Yeah.
How many times is one too many?
And it's not only American lives, you know, civilians that are at risk. When the politicians and the state governors, et cetera, do these kind of things, they're putting the lives of the ICE agents and the Border Patrol agents in harm's way.
Oakland mayor.
Yes.
Look at the Oakland mayor who's saying that
Yes.
she's going to notify illegals that ICE is coming.
Libby should have been arrested. They should have made her an example of what not to do. I cannot believe she wasn't arrested, because I guess we had Jeff Sessions in office that he had his, guts cut out, I guess. I don't know. But she should have been arrested. And, look, not only citizens are being victimized, any form of victimization, may that be fraud or a hit and run or a DUI or a murder or rape, molestation, assault, robbery, whatever the case may be. They are victimizing their own also.
Yes.
But the only difference is they are not reporting because they're afraid to get under the radar. Because when Libby Sheff said that Oakland is the safest city and there is no crime, or the hell there isn't any crime over there.
They're lying.
The heck it isn't. And if there isn't, it's because they're not reporting. Are you telling me that any of those high concentration of lower income people, that there is absolutely no crime there? Go tell that to a Democrat.
No.
Because I will not believe that.
I can tell you right now, they're lying. In Oakland, I mean, I lived in Oakland. They don't even investigate car robberies, Grand Theft Auto, because there's so much. They don't have time to deal with any of it. And then you have the San Francisco, they have this same issue. Trump did speak to this at one point in a speech a long time ago about how they're not reporting the crimes. They aren't reporting the crimes because if the property values go down so far, they're not going to get as much taxes. I think it all comes down to money for these guys.
And I think they finagle with the truth. So when the books come out to the safest cities, their city's not looking so bad. So they, but that's a lie. I know that they are being victimized. I know that they are, but they don't complain because they are afraid that they're gonna be deported, even though that they won't. Because I haven't seen one illegal alien victim be deported. Much to the contrary, in this country, I mean, I don't know if it's just California or not. I don't know. But here in California, if you get assaulted, you can petition the government to get your green card because you are a victim. What kind of bull crap is that?
Wow.
So an illegal can go out there and have a crime perpetrated upon them, and then just go and cry wolf and then get to legally stay here? For what?
Right.
How about us, citizens that get victimized? What protection, what benefits do we get?
Right, we get none whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care about us. They're more concerned with the illegal aliens.
They are. I mean, the benefits they get alone are just staggering. Healthcare, rooms, board, a stipend, cash stipend, all that kind of stuff. It's like, wow, must be nice, huh?
It is. And then the ones that are working under a false social security number, and how many thousands of Americans or millions have been affected by, what do you call it?
Identity theft.
Yeah, the identity theft.
Mm-hmm.
It ruins your life. It takes you years to clear that stuff up. And what happens to the person that did it? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, like you said, Agnes, until they feel it, I mean, like, we don't wish bad on anyone.
Right.
A lot of times people are oblivious to what's happening until it really affects them. Once it affects them, like they said, once it affects their bottom line, if they feel that emotion of someone being ripped from them, then they'll want to do something about it. Because if you think back, when Barack Obama was president, all of them were saying, even Bill Clinton, they were saying, we need to control our borders, we need to control our borders. Barack even said it back in 2013. But when they took a step back and said, wait a minute, we can control the votes here, we bring in more of these people, you know, that's when they changed their mind and started thinking, oh, no, let's let them all come in. But before then, it's like, we need to control the border, we need to border control, border wall. But now it's, oh, let them all come over here. And if the moment you say we don't want it, oh, you're racist, oh, you don't like these people, it's like it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the rule of law. It has to do with we cannot take in all these people. There's no more room. No other country would allow it. Like you said, if we were to go to Mexico and pull this, they would throw us up under the jail.
That's right.
Like,
you know, at this moment in time, I would bet you that there would be about 450 million people from all over the world that would want to come here. Can we take them all in?
Nope.
No.
And they say, then the Democrats like to use the word, oh, you're racist. You know what? The word racist has been thrown around so much that it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Exactly.
Or you're a communist, or you're KKK, or you're a Nazi. They don't even know what the heck they're talking about.
They don't.
None of that whatsoever. Don't throw words out there. Now they're throwing other words out there. Oh, it's inhumane. What is inhumane? Inhumane is allowing a parent, a mother, or a father, or giving your child to a total stranger to walk 2,000 miles or 3,000 miles to cross a border illegally in a country into uncertainty. That's what's tragic. And like the guy that died in the Rio Grande with his 18-month-old little girl, how sad. And it's Trump's fault. How is it Trump's fault? It's the Democrats. You want to put the blame? Let's put the blame on the Democrats because they're the ones not wanting to enforce immigration laws.
Exactly.
They're the ones that are not wanting to work on the asylum laws and cut and close the loopholes. So they are to blame for every life lost in this country at the hands of illegal aliens and at the border, anybody crossing and dying in the middle of the desert or drowning in the Rio Grande. They are at fault. But nobody points that out.
Yeah, those people wouldn't even have made that trek and that dangerous journey had they known, you know, if they knew that our laws were so strict and they wouldn't have a possibility of getting in. But, I mean, word gets out, and they all come here because they know how easy it is.
Exactly. That's why they keep coming, because they know they can do it, and they can get away with it because they, you know, how many hundreds and thousands have crossed into our country, then they call home and say, hey, come on, it's okay.
Right.
You just do this and that and tell them what to do. You know, I'm an American citizen. If I had to cross illegally into this country, I wouldn't know where to start because I don't have a criminal mind. I don't have, I'm a law-abiding person. I'll go stand in line for 10 hours to do it the right way. That's how I function. But no, these people already know where to cross, what to do. They speak not a word of English, but the first thing that comes out of their mouth when they come They turn themselves in to a border patrol agent, asylum, and they have to let him in. No, turn them around and kick their butts behind and say, get back across the river. You don't come in here. Get out.
Right. Like you said, they have like a network. They know we want people to come in like yourself. We're going to come in, respect the laws, and do it legally. Not individuals who are going to come here because they have a network and cross on this end or that end and do this. And then once you're over, turn yourself in, and then you get asylum. No, we don't want that. We can't handle that.
No. We're not equipped for that, and we shouldn't. Our country, and they say, oh, but United States, then they can give the nonsense about the Statue of Liberty. I'll take your sick and your poor. I don't think that's what it was meant, but you want to go there? Okay, fine. How many sick and the poor are you going to take in?
Right.
Until people like you and I, they're all working, paying taxes, die out, then who's going to support these poor people that now are older and they're going to become a burden to society? And think about it. The millions that already live in our country, the government doesn't even know how many. They say 11 million. My God, it's been 11 million forever.
Yeah.
I'll say it's probably close to 40 million, but that's my
scary.
guess. Yeah, and even maybe that's understating. So let's say 40, let's say 30, let's say 20 million, okay? Let's just be very conservative. 20 million. What happens when these 20 million get old and now they need nursing care? Has anybody checked in to see how much nursing care costs?
Astronomical.
Astronomical doesn't describe it. $4,000 or $5,000 a month.
Astronomical.
How many of them would be able to pay that? And if you get Alzheimer's, it's about $7,500 a month here in California. So how many can afford that?
I know
Even
people on
$10,000. If you get a cheapest place, how many of them can afford $2,000 a month?
I know people on disability who,
Taxpayers have to pay for it.
yeah,
Exactly.
SSI checks. I mean, some people are only getting 500, so you do the math.
Right, exactly. And our elderly are getting bad Medicare. I know Medicare. Gosh, I'm going to be a Medicare recipient in October when I turn 65.
Happy birthday.
You know, so you get the crappy insurance. You go. I remember when Obamacare kicked in. My mother had fallen and busted her face. She was black and blue. Her chin was bleeding, cracked open.
Oh, geez.
And we sat in the ER for 7.5 hours. And I walked in and I said, what is going on here? And I see all these families with little kids with runny noses. And I said, what in the heck are they doing in the emergency room with a runny nose? I told the nurse, says, why don't you send them across to the urgent care office? That is not, you don't come to an ER to treat a cold, a runny nose. And she says, well, legally we can't. So I talked to a couple of them, and I said, hi. I said, did you get Obamacare? Oh, yeah, through Medi-Cal. Oh, yeah, everybody. And at that time, my husband and I were paying $1,250 a month for Kaiser, for the two of us. And I'm thinking, you got to be kidding. I'm paying, my insurance went up quite a bit so they can get free insurance. How is that fair?
It's not.
And Obamacare was nothing but a disaster. Look, in Europe, they have socialized medicine. When you want or need a knee replacement surgery, here you go to your doctor within 3-4 months, 6 months at the most, you get your knee surgery, your knee replacement. In socialized medicine, takes 2, 3, 4 years. So is that what Americans want? Because they have no idea what socialized medicine is.
No, they just think it's free. I'm going to get something free. And it's not like that. I've spoken to friends who live overseas, and they say that it's not what you guys think that it is. Like we would prefer going to a private insurer because it's going to take us some time to get the aid that we need.
That's right. That's right. But people don't realize, they don't understand. In all our generation, the young generation now, all they hear is the likes of Bernie Sanders and what's that other idiot, Beto. Oh my God, the guy is just as ignorant as a doorknob. You know, with their socialist views and socialism, because everything is free. Nothing is free. It's only free until there is money to be given, and then what?
Mm-hmm. And
then what? And I'll guarantee you, my family lived in communism. When I was born, it was against the law to baptize a baby in a Catholic church. You would get arrested if they catch you in a church to baptize a baby. So my godparents took me to the church through the back door, not with my parents, because 4 people going to church with a newborn, it's a giveaway, right? Baptism. So they went in through the back. My mother's co-workers gave her tickets, vouchers to buy meat so they could have a luncheon for my baptism, because the government told you how much meat you can have a week.
wow.
So that's socialism. People think it's a cute thing, you get free things. Nothing is free. If your freedom is worth nothing and you rather get a free pen and to lose your liberty than go live in Venezuela.
Well, and then you have the problem with your life isn't worth anything. You have France who, France adopted that law, sedated dying. This guy is going to be euthanized, going to be starved to death. You have Charlie Hebdo from Britain. I mean, this is not a great situation. If the cost of taking care of you is more than your worth, or that more than the taxes that they're going to get out of you in your lifetime, you don't get treatment. And you don't get the option, and it's legal for them to do that. And that's a really scary situation. You don't want this in America.
No. And you know, the leftists, the Democrats ignorance, this is like a cancer in this country that's going to keep on killing. We keep allowing illegals to come in. More and more people are going to be killed. And it's not going to be easy to say, oh yeah, because the media doesn't say, oh yeah, so-and-so, an illegal alien, ran down the lady or the man or the husband and wife or the mother and the child in a stroller. They're just going to try to hide it. And California is Los Angeles was a year or two ago was the capital of hit and runs. And I would bet that the majority of them were illegal aliens, undocumented and unlicensed.
Right.
And drunk. Or a combination of one of those. Because we cannot allow this to continue. Although the hope is, I haven't applied for mine yet. Our new federal tax ID card, the federal card that you're gonna need to have after October of 2020 to travel, because we will not be able to use our driver's licenses anymore to travel. We have to have this federal one. The good thing about that, you have to show your citizenship papers. You have to show Social Security number, you have to show that you're here legally, so that might cut illegal aliens' ability to move around the country. And what we need to do then is put checkpoints back in place. Put them back in San Diego, San Isidro, every place else, Escondido, where they used to have one, in many different places, and catch these people coming in, and nab them and immediately deport. It shouldn't be a rocket science. You're here illegally, you go to the border, kick back, go.
So
walk across, don't come back.
So we
and
keep.
If you come back again, you're going to get 5 years minimum in federal prison. Forced labor, how is that for an incentive? Try to come back. Because if we catch you, 5 years forced labor.
That would be awesome.
We need to get tougher. We need to get tougher, a lot tougher than we are. And we need to get in the faces of these Democrats that are trying to water down our Constitution, our laws, at the expense of American citizens.
So we need to get tough. We need to stand up. We need to fight back. How can we help as patriots?
Well, I don't know for individual angel moms. I do a lot. I travel a lot. I most at my own expense, and it gets expensive after a while. As you can imagine, even gas now here in California, we got a added tax that's going to go up. We have the most expensive gas, but anyways, in the nation, you know, anybody would like to help with any donation, I would be much appreciated to help defray some of my expenses. I would really appreciate that.
Where can
And help by helping, by standing up for yourself, for this country, and speaking up, and let them know that you are watching them, that you do this. You hold them accountable. Don't let them get away with things.
where can people go to your? Do you have a website we can do donations at?
I don't. I can give you my P.O Box 9413, Rancho Cucamonga 91701. I don't have a website. I just have my Facebook and Twitter account.
And what's your Twitter at? For those of you who don't know.
My Twitter, my Facebook are my name, Agnes Gibboney.
There you go.
Very simple. Yeah.
Gibboney.
Yes.
Angel Mom. Well, thank you, Agnes.
My Twitter is Angel Mom Agnes Gibboney, and my Facebook is just Agnes Gibboney.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I would like to say that I thank this country for allowing my family to come here and to give me a place that I can call home, because when we immigrated here, we came as stateless because Hungary took our citizenship away after my parents escaped. So we didn't belong anywhere. Even when we lived in Brazil, we never became citizens, so we were stateless, and we were stateless when we came to the United States. So I thank this country for allowing me to call this my home, and I will continue fighting for this great nation, for this country, until I have a voice, and I am not going to quit. I'm not going to be intimidated by Beto O'Rourke or Cory Booker, or by Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or Nancy Pelosi or the likes. I'm going to speak up, and I'm going to fight and stand up for those that no longer have a voice, like my son, and I will never give up the fight, because I do not want this country to turn into a socialist country.
Nice. Thank you so much, Agnes. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Yes.
Rob, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anytime. God bless everyone.
And we'll definitely see you again soon.
Thank you. Anytime. Take care.
Thank you.